Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. By the end of this webinar, my goal is that I'm going to give you some information based in neuroscience, based in psychology, based in our evolution that is going to shift your mindset in a way that will enable you to allow you to enjoy your profession in a new way without sacrificing quitting your job or changing jobs or changing your boss or any of that stuff. These are key tools that I've learned on my journey that I've shared with others who have been able to implement them and really like upgrade their lives through upgrading their jobs and the way that they interact with their jobs. So I am Janair Hines. I am a practicing attorney. I've been practicing for 10 years. And the work that I'm doing here is I really want to help professionals to be able to perform at a high level. Professionals like lawyers, doctors, a lot of us that are kind of in those like, high stress spaces, and really help us to be able to like work and thrive in a new way without damaging our reputations or our personal relationships or our health. I know a lot of times we have this idea that if we're working in these professions, like, it is stressful and we accept stress as being a part of the job. But from being in that position and learning in my own journey, I've learned that that's not necessarily how it has to be. And so I'm hoping to share that message with as many people as I can so we can really change the way that we work, specifically in America, but really across the world, honestly. So here are basically the ground rules for today. I want you to um, really take this time to be here and try to really absorb as much as you can from this. If you are distracted, it can take away from your ability to really connect with the information. So stay present, put away the distractions. And I also have a special gift for you at the end. So stay until the end. And also feel free to ask questions. I will make this about you. So whatever questions that come up, put them in the chat. And I'll make sure to weave them into everything so that you're getting the most out of this as possible. So to start, how did I end up doing this, right? So I started um, I started practicing law in 2013, and I opened my own law firm in 2015. And when I started my firm, I was killing it. Like I started small. I had a client list before I even left the firm where I was. I started out, with those cases, and then I started building up my practice, taking high profile cases. I was on the news, I was giving press conferences, I was hiring law clerks and staff and all of this stuff. Like I was really, really growing and really doing a fantastic job in practicing and managing my law firm. And what an experience that I kept having is just like this constant state of stress. And I kind of felt like, okay, maybe once I start making this amount of money, like it'll get better. Or maybe, you know, if I just niche down a little bit more and just focus on these kind of cases that I like things will get better. Or maybe if I get an assistant or another assistant or another assistant, they can take some of the load off me. And none of it really worked. It just kind of felt like it would be small things like I would get an email, or I would like having to go to court, I would feel like tension in my body. And when I would talk to other lawyers about it, they were just like, yeah, like it's a part of the practice. It just means that you care about your job. And it just, that's like natural, that's normal. It's a difficult job and that's the way it is. But I just kind of felt like I've done difficult things before. Like I was 15 years old. I had my own TV show. I was on TV by myself, walking in the streets at 15, talking to adults about sex and STDs, like on a TV show that was like nationally broadcasted. I was president of 3 clubs and founding another club and cheerleading captain and having 2 jobs at the same time and studying for the SATs. Like, I know how to balance things. This was something different. This was like a kind of like level of stress that was not something I was used to experiencing. And I kind of got into this place where I thought, okay, maybe it's the law. Maybe I need to transition into something that maybe I enjoyed more. I was like, I really like fashion. Maybe I should start like a fashion line. And I did that. I love dancing. I was like, okay, I'm going to open a dance studio. I'm going to start a dance shoe company. I did all of these things. And I still was wanting to practice law. And I remember having one night where I was working on something. I was like working on some kind of motion or something for a client. And I just remember like catching myself in a moment where I was like so happy. I was like brainstorming ideas and I was like, oh yeah, there's this case. I'm going to throw this case in there. And I was like, okay, like I think this is good strategy. I knew who the judge was and I was like, I know he loves this kind of stuff. I'm throwing that in there. And I was really enjoying it. And it dawned on me that like the problem is not the work. I love the work. Like something else is going on here. I need to figure out like how is it that I can love this job so much and be so stressed out by it? And that's what started me on this journey where I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing some research. I'm gonna find some kind of programs, and this led me down a rabbit hole of going into spirituality and going into psychology, learning about evolution, learning about cognitive science. And I took so many tools, meditation and mindfulness. I took tools from so many different places, and all of them were able to give me something, right? Every new thing that I learned changed my paradigm in some way. And now I'm at the point where I practice the way I want to practice. I live in a high rise condo in Miami and I still have my own law firm. My law firm now is 10 years old, going on 11 years. I still have a great reputation. I get cases like 5-star reviews, like, and I love the work that I do, and I don't still have that stress. There still are moments where I can feel it, but when it comes, I know what to do. I know how to manage it, and I just feel like I've created this life that is centered around me and the things I like rather than around my job and the things that I think I need to do. I live so balanced and I'm so, so, so deeply grateful for the way that I'm able to live. And so um, I want to share this. Like, I want to impart it on other people, um, starting with the people that I know that are going through like really like tough times in their jobs, but to anybody who can benefit from this. Like, like this is like a passion project for me. So let us start talking about let's start talking about what we're going to cover. So I'm going to share with you 3 secrets. There are tons and tons and tons of them that I've learned and discovered. And I'm going to share 3 of them with you today, starting with, first of all, you are a mapped out machine. So I know a lot of us think that we're like so intelligent and so different, but I'm going to show to you that this will work for you because you are a human being, right? As simple as that. The second one is why you have control. So we have tendency to think that it's our job or our boss or the environment or something else. Um, but I'm going to show. I think we're back. Let me know if you can see me. Okay, great. I'm not sure what happened there, but thank you so much for staying on. Um, Perfect. You can hear me as well. Awesome. All right, let's see if we can get back to where we were. Okay, last thing I heard was item two in the list of three things. Okay, great. All right, so let's just pick back up right there. All right, let me get this where I can see it. Okay, perfect. All right, so item number two. So recapping item number two is why you have the power to do this. So rather than it being as a result of external circumstances or something where you need to change your external circumstances, you have the power inside of you to change everything that you want to change about your job or your life. Item number three is why the external forces are not the ones that are going to hold you back. So I lost my train there a bit. But item number three is basically about time. So, for a lot of us, we're very busy. Time is a a commodity that, we have to be very careful with. And I'm going to show you why no matter how much time you have, you can make this change in your life. And really, you can actually find ways to weave this into your life where it's not costing you any additional time, but it will actually create more time in your life and in your schedule because of what it's going to be able to do inside of your mind and inside of your body. All right, so let's go ahead and start with number one. Number one is this. All of us are human beings, right? Some of us are smarter than others, different levels of intelligence. We have different emotions. We have different biology. We have different um, traumas and triggers. We have different DNA. But the part of us that is human is more similar to everyone else than we think. So when science um, tests a hypothesis, we know that science tests things across all avenues. Well, it should really. And how this impacts you is understanding that you are basically a mapped out machine. So a lot of people might look at stuff like this. I was actually one of them. And I can tell you, when I first started like learning about this stuff, I think I started with spirituality, not because that's what I wanted to gravitate towards, but when I first started doing the searches about the topics that I felt like would help me to learn how to manage my stress, they kind of led me down that path. And a lot of it was like about the law of attraction and, how whatever you think is what you attract in your life. And it was about affirmations and about mindfulness. And honestly, for me, and I'm sure this is the same experience for a lot of people, I just didn't feel like that would work, like for what I was facing in my practice. It seemed a little far out, it seemed a little bit like impractical. And for me, for where I'm coming from, especially, I have the mind of an attorney, because this is what I do for, a living. I really just felt like, maybe this will work on some people, but I don't know that it would work for me. And when I really started doing it and it started working on me, that's when I had that like light bulb moment of, wow, like these things are actually been tested over time. These things have actually been like shown over multiple people, intelligent people, people who are smarter than me. And I'm pretty smart. I'm very smart. I would think I'm smarter than like, I mean, I have a high IQ, right? That's what we would take to be smart. I'm not very easily hypnotized. I'm very logical. And I see you saying, yeah, that's my struggle too. Brain is too type A. Yes, absolutely. I analyze everything. I remember once I was at a comedy show with a friend, and the comedian, like, or I don't know if he was a comedian or a magician or what he was. He like called people up on the stage to like do a hypnosis, and the whole idea was like, oh, he was going to hypnotize you and make you do funny things, and then everybody in the audience was going to laugh. He did the whole hypnosis thing, and I was just sitting there like, while all the other people on the stage were like being ridiculous and embarrassing themselves. And yeah, like I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is not going to work on me. Like I'm just not that easy to like penetrate. I think a lot. I'm very mental. I'm um very logical. Actually, that was actually my best subject in college was logic. So yeah, so I just felt like it wouldn't work. Hard to get me to subscribe to non-science heebie-jeebie. Yes, like very, very difficult. Um, and I grew up religious, and that's a whole other thing. Like don't, I don't do well very easily with people telling me or trying to direct me of stuff without logical steps or without things that I can see. But when it comes to a lot of this work, what I actually learned is it is science. The law of attraction, it's still a field of study, but when you start getting into quantum physics and actual psychology, human psychology, and evolution, and you start learning that a lot of the things that we've created that are as a result of us not understanding things are the things that we tend to mistrust when we're super logical. But if we go back to our bases, a lot of times, what we learn is that we evolved to be a certain way based on logic. We evolved a lot of our ideas based on our experiences, even if we didn't have scientific explanations. We studied what was available to us. We saw what was happening in life, and we made conclusions from them. And they kept us alive so that we are now the descendants of the people who did adhere to these things. I hope I'm making sense. Let me give you an example. This is something that I experienced this maybe a year ago. Maybe no, maybe probably a lot longer than that now. But as I'm doing this work, like I really like sat down and thought about the fact that like I was on the train one time, I think, and I started looking around and I was like, everybody here is the first sperm, right? You know how in conception, like there's a lot of sperm trying to get to the egg, and I don't think it's necessarily the first one, but the one that the egg chooses, right? The first one to get there, and that also the egg accepts, that forms a life into a human being. And yeah, every single one of us was the strongest, the best available out of whatever um sperm that we were there. There is so much to life that we don't understand. And so we have to take the fact that there's science that has been proven, and there's things that have worked on other people, and we have to mirror that and marry that with the fact that we don't have all the explanations, and we have to come up with a logical conclusion from that. So, for example, do this exercise with me right now. Let me see this comment first. Sometimes it has to hit you unsuspecting for you to get on board, and it's undeniable, unmistakable. So now you have to go back and revisit the base of your belief. Yes, that is how it happened for me. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That is very similar to how it happened for me as well. I remember getting to a point with certain things where I was like, well, I tried it these other ways. I might as well just try this out. And when it worked, I had to completely change my paradigm. So yes, that's absolutely how it works sometimes. So let's do this. Do this exercise with me. I want you to close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And I want you to find a stressful moment at work. I want you to think about a moment at work where things were very, very stressful. Think about what was happening around you. Think about how it made you feel. Try to name what you were feeling. Was it frustration? Was it anger? Was it anxiety? Feel into that feeling. Think about what you were doing in that moment. Play it out in your head. Now, I want you in this moment to switch. I want you to switch from who you were in that moment to this future version of yourself who never gets stressed, who can handle any situation, who knows the perfect thing to do at that moment. And I want you to relive that moment as this person. Imagine being in that exact same situation and feeling completely empowered, feeling powerful, feeling like you have it under control, feeling like nothing can rattle you. As a matter of fact, you feel amazing. You have no anxiety, you have no negative emotions. Whatever people are doing around you or whatever is happening in the situation, you are so far above it. Feel how that feels in your body now. Knowing that you have it under control, that you are powerful, that this situation cannot touch you. Take a few more breaths, feeling into that. Recognizing how different that feels. And now open your eyes. Tell me how that was for you. I'll give it a few minutes. I know there's a lag here. I think this would be a great mindfulness meditation. Yes. But can you feel the difference in your body? For me, even doing it, like I feel way more calm. I can feel like my body feels different to help when things feel like total chaos. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And this exercise, I want you to think about it even as we go through the rest of this, because it really applies to everything that we're talking about. A recentering, yes. Yes. What that goes to show you is that small shift is it worked, right? It made you feel different. It made you feel in a stressful situation not stressed. And that brings me to number two, which is the idea that what's happening outside of us is what's causing the thing. So I remember when I started law school, there was this, I don't want to say girl, this lady who was like, she was like way ahead of me. Um, she was kind of my mentor or one of my mentors, somebody I was paired up with because she was ahead of me to help kind of guide me on the path of getting to where I want to get career-wise. So I met her when I first started law school. At the time, she was doing her clerkships in big law. When I started law school, I also wanted to be in big law. My undergrad degree was in business, international business. And so I wanted to get into like a big, like corporate lawyer position. So she was on that path. She was like several years ahead of me, maybe 3 or 4 years ahead of me. And so she was doing her like clerkship things and she was telling me how it was going. And then I remember she got the job in the big fancy law firm. She big paycheck. um and she kind of was guiding me like, okay, this is what you do, da da da. And we would follow up with each other every few months, where we would have a call, and it would be very casual. Like I would kind of tell her how things were going with me, she would tell me how things were going with her. And I just remember, like, as I was starting my like clerkship, like working in the big law environment, and she had now had her job, like how stressed she was and how much she was struggling. And it was crazy because she was getting paid. Like it was a lot of money that she was getting paid. She was ranked at the top of her class. She looked good on paper. She had all the right credentials, all the right internships, and everything was perfect. But she would just tell me like the microaggression. We're the same race. She's black. She would just tell me like, oh, like these people. She was the only black person in a firm of like 200 lawyers. I think there was like two black men, but she was the only black woman in this entire firm. And like, she faced a lot of like microaggression things. And she was just like, you know what, I just need to prove myself. I need to get out of my probationary period and like get to know everybody, and they'll start respecting me, and then things will get better. And few years later, I remember she was like, well, I need to make junior partner and then things will get better. And then it was like, I need to get stop working with this guy. He's a little bit, difficult to work with. He's a hole. Like I need to stop working with him and things would get better. And I think like over the years, it was just different things. And this is not a person that's prone to complain. This girl was like a rock star. Like she was super efficient. She was super brilliant girl, like so good at what she was doing. She was a brilliant attorney, crazy with the strategy, beautiful, perfect reputation. And so she was not a complainer, she was not a quitter, but her job was just difficult. And with the billable hours she had to do, she was working long hours, she was stressed. And, it was so many environmental factors outside of her that were creating that and contributing to that. And we stayed in contact, like even after I went through my big law experience. Like I was like, this is not for me. I don't think, like, because I experienced the same things that she did, with like a little bit of racism, not overtly, but like microaggressions and like boys club and all of that stuff. And I think she was willing to go through it, but I was not. And so I ended up going a different route, but we still kept in touch. And so there was a point where I was in my firm, and by this time, I'm on TV, I'm giving press conferences, I am like, I'm not even marketing anymore. My phone is ringing off the hook. Like people are seeing me on the news and calling me. And I'm working with like big attorneys in other like counties, and I was like really doing well. And I was talking to her and she got to the point where she was like, I think I just need to get out of the law. She had made partner by then, and which was a crazy trajectory because she made partner really fast because she was so good. She had made partner, and her mindset was like, if I make partner, then I'll have more control over my schedule. I'll have lawyers working under me, so I'll have less pressure. I can do more of the stuff I like and like give the stuff I don't like to these other people. But when she made it there, it was still like, it was still hard, right? So it was still so much going on. And she was just like, I don't know, like I'm getting older. I think I want to get married and have a family. Like maybe I need to transition out of law. And she was like, what have you been doing? Because I've seen like a shift in you. And I just kind of like gave her some of the things that I was working on. And she kind of like, my goal wasn't to like change her or anything. She asked me a question, I was giving her the answer, the honest answer. And at that point I was like really getting into it. And you know she she was like, well, it's not really me, it's all these other things. But I shared it with her, and she was like, okay, I'll think about it. A few months later, I think it might have been like half a year, like 6 months later, 'cause it was seasons changed. She had called me and she was like, girl, I have been able to turn everything around with some of this stuff that you've given me. Like, I went ahead, I worked on my own self, my own mindset. I went ahead and I found like a bigger reason for why I was doing this. I started doing things my way. Like there's a lot to this, right? When I go through my program, you'll see that there's a lot of different tools, different things work for different people. I gave her as much as I had at that time. And she was like, yeah, like I'm staying. Like I'm thriving right now. And the crazy thing is when she started to do that work, everything else started to change around her. So, yeah, she still had billable hours, but how she was doing her billable hours was different. She still had the bosses and the people she had to work with, but she felt like after she started doing the work on herself internally, it was really like other people started change towards her. Like she stopped being affected by what other people were doing and they stopped doing the stuff. So it was an eye opener for me. I didn't realize how impactful that was at the time because, like I said, I was still on my journey. But for her, it completely changed how she was living and how she was practicing because she changed her internal state. And so the whole point of this is that you may feel like it's your job, and I'm not saying your job is not bad. I'm not saying your job isn't hard. I'm not saying your boss doesn't suck. But what I'm saying is if you want to make a change, the idea that is going to work is not running away from the thing. So if you have a job you don't like, I know this is going to sound crazy. I know this is going to sound crazy. But if you have a job you don't like, you are not going to get into a better position by changing your job. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but what we have found, and I took a course at Yale about this, that talked about the science of well-being and how when we have that thing that we're chasing after that we want to happen, there's a point at which we will get it and our happiness will shoot up. So, yeah, when you get out of that job that you hate, your happiness is going to shoot up for a while. You're going to feel really good. It's going to feel like a good environment. And, you will probably feel like it's the changing of the job that made that possible. But what we learn is that over time, and they've studied this is a Yale course that I took that really like opened my eyes to this, is after a certain amount of time, you're gonna go back to the same base level. So say you have a job right now, your job is very difficult and stressful. You go, you get another job that you perceive to be less difficult and less stressful. For the first 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, maybe, you will feel like, yes, I made the best decision of my life. This is great. This is so much better. And then over time, little things will start happening. Oh, but this program that we're using, it's not the best program. It's kind of slow. Okay. Oh, dang, that person that I really liked when I started has left the company and now it feels kind of empty. These new interns that they're hiring, like they don't like to work, they're on social media all day. Like I can't stand like working with these people. Now it's like, oh, I hate these people. Like I need to get another job. Like, I can't work with this program anymore. Like, this is so stupid. Like, they need to upgrade this. They won't upgrade it. They're making my job more difficult. And within a matter of time, you're back to that place where you were before, where now you hate your job and now you're looking elsewhere. Someone says, I have been there. Yes, yes. So many people have been there. And I think a lot of times too, let me take a sip of water here. A lot of times too, we see people right after that transition period. And that's why a lot of times we affirm this belief that changing our job is what's going to be the solution. So I know so many people who have this same story where they were in a corporate job that they hated and they wanted to find a way out. And then they found this passion, this thing that they love to do. And then they like started this new passion. And now they're so alive and life is amazing and life is great. And now they're like, they want to spread the word on this thing that they found. And we see people in that stage and they sell us this dream of like, yes, this is the answer. You have to find your passion. You have to follow your bliss. You have to find your dreams, follow your dreams. And the part that we don't see is the 5 years down the line will that person still feel that way? There is a way for you to stay at that high level, but most people don't actually do that. And then the kicker is you can do it from anywhere you are. So that high level of joy and peace that that person found, they could have still found it in their corporate job. If they are unable to sustain it, it's because they haven't changed. And if they are able to sustain it, it's because they have changed, and they could have changed where they were or where they were not, or where they went. So that's take number two. Let me see the comments. The external stressors will always be there regardless of the job. Yes. And I also have another video on my channel called Stress is Not Real. Um, I encourage you to watch that video as well, because honestly, my perspective is about is that these external stressors aren't really stressors. And when we study evolution and what stress is actually inside the body and why we have evolved to have the stress responses: flight, fight, freeze, fawn. There's a specific reason for those things. And if you really understand what that is, you understand that the things that we're experiencing are basically manufactured stresses. They're not real stresses. So I encourage you to watch that video. Number one. Sorry, another comment. Is there any merit to following passions? Yes. And I also have a video on my channel about finding your passion and following your passion. I don't want to get too deep into that now because it's like a whole other like topic. There is merit to following your passions, but it's an energy of where you're following your passions from. So just to give like a quick overview, there's a difference from running from something and running towards something. And the energy that you bring is the energy that you're going to continue to have. So, what do I mean by that? So, if you are following this passion, I'm going to use air quotes as passion just for the context of this. If you are trying to follow a passion because you hate your job and you're running from your job, you are going to take that running energy to your passion. And so you're going to run from your job, find your passion, and eventually you're going to find yourself in a place of wanting to run from your passion because your energy is running. It doesn't matter where you are, you're running. Now, running away. If you're running towards your passion, then that's a completely different energy. And it's not about running towards a certain goal, it's running towards a certain feeling. Because why do we want to follow our passions? Because we want to feel passionate, we want to feel alive, we want to feel excited. But the thing that a lot of people miss is that feelings are an internal experience. So you can find the internal experience of passion in the job that you are in now. You don't necessarily have to go chase it. And if you don't have it now and you go chasing it, you're going to get there and you're going to find that you have a hedonic adaptation. And now you're still going to be wanting to run for your passion. Like I said, I have a whole video on this on my channel it's already posted. So I say go watch that video because it will really break down for you like what's happening when we have this idea of like I'm going for that thing outside. Yes, I will check it out. Perfect. Okay. So, number 3, this is going to be our final secret or final like realization that's going to help you with this shift. So, we talked about external circumstances, right? So this weaves in to that. But the biggest one I hear from people is time. Is because you are so busy already, as a professional, like time is of the essence. Most of us have multiple balls that we're juggling at the same time. So you may have this high stress job, like for us, type A, like wanting to accomplish and achieve a lot and wanting to live great lives. We're also working out a lot of times. You may have hobbies that you're doing as well. You may have friend groups that you have to keep in contact with. You may have a significant other, a spouse, a relationship that you're working on. You may be also into like how you look, and you got to go get your nails done, you got to get your hair done, you got to get your lashes done, you got to go get that massage, you got to go get that beauty treatment. Like there is not a lot of space in our schedule. Worse if you have like one of those hobbies that takes a lot of time, like you're trying to garden and you need to learn about it and you need to do it and you need to pay attention to things. It's Time is something that a lot of us don't perceive ourselves to have. I definitely have a lot of stuff going on in my life. I have multiple businesses that I run. I'm a lawyer full time. I work out 3, 4 times a week. I'm a dance teacher at the same time. Like I have a lot going on, as a lot of us do. And there's this quote that was said by one of my mentors. If you How does it go? I think this was Joe Dispenza. He was talking about meditation in this context. And he was saying that if you have time, meditate for like 10 minutes a day. I'm like paraphrasing from memory, so it may not actually be 10 minutes. But he says, if you have time, meditate for 10 minutes a day. If you don't have time, meditate for an hour. And I feel like that is so powerful because of the fact that us professionals who we have so much going on, we need this kind of work even more. Like it is so much more necessary for us to be able to regulate, to be able to have tools to manage our stress, to be able to um have a good perspective when we're handling life, when there's so many things coming at us, because oftentimes we don't have a lot of like period in between things. So like if you're a person who's getting up, you're going to the gym, and then you're going to work, and then after work you have this like hobby that you do, and then once you get home you need to cook and you need to do a bunch of things. And then you're preparing for the next day, and you're answering text messages, you're following up with things, and your day is just like back to back to back to back. You don't have like a 20 minutes where you're just like lounging around and like staring at the ceiling. Like if you have 20 minutes, you're going to go get something done in those 20 minutes, right? So for people who are operating like that, it's so much more important, because you don't have spaces in your day to re-regulate yourself. It's so much more important to be regulated during your day. I also have videos on my channel about stress and the effects of stress and how dangerous it is for us to be in that low grade state of stress all day. You need to be able to, um, when you get up in the morning and you go to the gym, to be regulated. When you go to work, to be regulated. When you go after work and you start cooking and everything, to be regulated. It's so much important for you today that I just saw that comment, say no to cortisol. Oh my goodness. Cortisol is so dangerous. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I mean, some of these things, like being in that state of stress we are learning now, is worse than being an alcoholic. With a lot of these drugs, like it's worse than being on certain drugs, because it destroys your body so much and it destroys your mental, and it's a ripple effect. So today, being stressed, is one thing. But that stress from today piled on with the stress of tomorrow and the next day and the next day, it compounds, and it's so, so, so like harmful to your system. So I would say that if you feel like you do not have time, you need this even more. And what I've also found is, because I've been able to learn a lot of these techniques, it creates more time. Like, your experience of time is different. So think about, like, if you're, let's say you're going to work, you have 30 minutes to get to work. Doesn't matter if you're late or not. Let's say you're on time, right? And you're getting in traffic. You have 30 minutes to get to work, and it's going to take you 30 minutes to get to work. And you're in your car and you're stressed out, and you're like, oh, yelling at that driver and get out of the way and da 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 da. Your experience of time is different than if you're in that same exact situation, same exact 30-minute window, and you're in that time and you are relaxed and you just feel like everything is flowing, everything is good. I have plenty of time, like, things are going well, you're not stressed, you're not worried about anything. Your experience of time is more spacious. Your experience of your body is more positive. And that is what this work can do. And for a lot of us, we may not even realize we're in that state of stress because we're so used to it. But if you're not waking up in bliss every day, if you are not happy every day, like if you don't feel good every single day, I'm telling you, you have more work to do. And I know it sounds crazy because we think that, like, that's normal and the ups and downs and da 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 da, and like, oh yeah, like, stress is a part of life. I'm telling you it's not. And I'm telling you it doesn't have to be. And I'm telling you, the more you are able to do this, the closer you're able to get, the better your experience of life is going to be. So that is number 3. Let's see where we're going next with this. Okay. So everything that I've learned from books, courses that I've taken, mentors, all of that stuff, right? Years and years and years and years of um, gathering information, deep diving into a lot of different areas, from cognitive behavioral therapy to doing mindset work and meditation and going to retreats, and from taking courses and classes on evolution. And even now, I'm continuously learning and I'm continuing to grow. Right now, I have my own coaches and mentors. I have courses that I still take every day because I'm still working on this, like, every single day. Um, and so I've created this program based on what I've seen that works for the people around me, getting down to the stuff that's like the most impactful, right? So that is my specialty. Like, I'm a I'm a lawyer. So my thing is, like, there may be 20,000 arguments as why my client should be out of jail. I'm going to focus on the ones that are going to actually win, right? And so that is how I approach this, is like, yes, give me all the stuff. I want to learn all the stuff, but when it comes to implementation, I'm going to do the stuff that works the most. I'm going to do the stuff that works the best. And so I took all these different fields and all these different tools and everything that I learned, and I compiled it into stuff that's like the most impactful. The things that are proven in different areas. So rather than this being a mindfulness technique, I'm going to give you, okay, so this is what religion says, but it's also what is in spirituality, and it's also what's in science. I think this is the one that I want to do, rather than the one that's just about mindfulness. I'm going to take the thing that's in cognitive behavioral studies, and I'm going to and it's also an evolution, and it's also supported by meditation. And those are the things that I've compiled together to really make the biggest impact in my life, rather than going and doing all this extra stuff over and over again. I figured out the stuff that actually works, and I put it together. So now you know the three secrets. Number one is that this works because you're a human being. Number two is that you can control your environment by your internal experience. And number three is that the time is not going to be able to stop you. Whatever external factor that you think you don't have the time, and you don't have the energy, and you don't, whatever, it's not going to be able to stop you if you decide that this is what you want to do. So let's talk about the offer. Let me see. I can't wait. Okay, yes. All right, perfect. So let's talk about what is actually in the program. So these three mindset shifts are only like a small fraction of what's available, right? So the core offer that I have right now is called the Thrive Blueprint. It's a 6-week program. How I've designed it is that you can do it in 6 weeks. The idea is for you to do a little bit of a at a time, because that's the way that it works the best, is when we do it over time rather than trying to cram everything in one day. You can take some time to be with the stuff, but really you're going to go at your own pace, right? So you know yourself the best, you know what your schedule is like, but we have set it up to be in 6 weeks. And so there's modules within those about mastering your energy, rewiring your mindset, how to perform at your highest level without burning out, how to create more space and time, how to think about your work differently, how to understand your own evolution so that when you recognize patterns happening inside yourself, you know what's happening and you're not unconscious about it. I teach you a lot about the science of religion. And I just came up with that in my head to call it that. But really, what it is, it's like a lot of the stuff we see in religion that we shy away from, like now there's science to back it up. And so I'll teach you how to use that science to apply to your life, taking out the religious part, but using the part that's actually scientific. And so, as a part of that, we're going to have a weekly coaching call. So that way, when you go through the module, you do the exercise, we can actually come together and have a call where you can ask me your questions, you can tell me what you're struggling with, and we can give guidance and mold things so that you are able to make the absolute most of what we're giving you. The next thing that's a part of that core offer is the Thrive Resource Vault, where you're going to get checklists, you're going to get scripts, you're going to get tools that will make the implementation effortless. So basically, just like we did the meditation exercise, you have things like that. You have things that you can like learn to like really quick reset in your day. You can, it will give you a bunch of tools because different things might work for different people, and also different things will work for you at different times. So the resource vault will give you all of that information, and this is for the core, like most basic part of the program. The 6-week program, we took all of this stuff, we put it in a program, and we had it evaluate everything for us. So I'm going to give you the valuations that we've been given, third party valuations, like not our valuations of what they say these things are worth. For the Thrive Blueprint curriculum that we've designed, the value is at $997, right? The weekly coaching calls, the value that we've been given is $1,350, so $1,350. For the Thrive Resource Vault, the valuation that we were given is $650. So that's a total value of $2,997. That's basically $3,000. You are getting this whole $3,000 program right now. Um, right now, it's at 597. That price is going to go up soon. So if you're watching this in the replay, it may not still be at that price. They actually told me not to, talk about the prices here because the prices might change. But right now, the core offer is at the lowest it's ever going to be. And the reason for that is, we're starting this out. We want to give people as much as possible, and we want to encourage you to really get into it. And so, we want to get your feedback and we want to work with you on it and get you to really come in and get value from the program right now while it's in its infancy. Of course, if you're watching this video in the replay, that may change, but our goal is always to offer you as much value as possible. So if you are watching this video, just go ahead and look in the description for the links, and the links will have all the updated prices. So now, if you really want to take it to the next level, right? If you want to get the best possible everything you can get, we've also created a VIP upgrade for this program. So I'm only going to take 5 people in that, just because I want to make sure that we can really like hone in on it. But you get everything that you already get in the core offer. So you get the program, you get the weekly coaching calls, and you get the resource vault. Then, in addition to that, if you get the VIP upgrade, you also get the 3 private strategy intensives. So the valuation they gave us for that is $3,000. You're getting 3 one-on-one calls where you can tell me exactly what you're going through in your job, what you're facing, and we will create a customized program for you. So I will tell you exactly, and we'll work together on it. Like, based on your schedule, based on what you're going through, these are going to be the best tools that are going to actually work for you. Like, we'll identify exactly what your problem is or what your issue is, and we'll hone in on that and specifically target and talk about what that is and how we're going to help you to overcome it. The next thing is that we're going to include with that is a custom career and life blueprint. So this is going to be a blueprint that's specifically designed for you. So this is something that you can take after the program is over that will continue to be a guide for you like over time. So basically, it's like you'll go through the program, we'll work on everything together, and then at the end you'll get a map of, right, all right, this is my the part that I can put into my routine. Valuation for that is $1,500. VIP access for life. So this means that, of course, we're going to be adding stuff to this course over time. We may like put in some extra like resources in the resource vault. And we want to make sure that if you have the VIP version of the program, that you will always have access to any future updates, anything that's added later, anything that comes out of that course again. You will always have access to that. The next thing we include in the VIP is the priority messaging support. So you will be able to like contact me directly in between sessions to be like, okay, I need help with this, I need help with that. And so you get that like personal one-on-one, like to get you through everything. This is why I said I'm only going to do this with 5 people, because I want to make sure that I can be available to really, really help you. And then you get the VIP networking circle. So what we'll do is, of course, the people in the VIP program are the people at the highest level who want this transformation more than anything. And so we will connect everyone together where we can work together in seeing how we can actually continue on this journey together. So you will be connected to whoever's in the program, if it's lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs that are in this program who are doing the same work that you are, and you'll get to walk with them hand in hand and to also benefit from their lessons and everything that they're doing. So with all of these things, the total value for the VIP package that we receive from our third party is $8,197. So that's for the strategy intensive, the blueprint, the VIP access, the messaging support. Um, all of this we're offering for right now for, should I say the price or should I just put it in the comments? It's a very low price for what we're offering. I'm actually going to just put it in the comments. So I will put in the comments the link with everything so you can go on there and see how much the price is. Yes, comments. Okay, perfect. So that way people who see it later won't get sticker shock. But trust me, like, you're getting a lot of value for a lot less than it's worth. And again, it's because we really want to get people into the program starting and really help you on this journey. So right now, let me see if there are any other questions before I wrap things up. I know we've been here a while. Okay, there's a lag, but nothing yet. So here's my guarantee. I am so confident in this that I promise you that if you show up and you do the work, you are going to have a transformation. I am 100% certain. There is no universe, there is no universe where this does not work. Like, it is not possible that you will actually show up and do this and that it will not work for you. Unless you're an alien of some kind, I'm telling you, this is going to work for you. I'm making this offer right now. And as you know, like I said before, the VIP spots are limited. One of them is already taken, so we only have 4 left. And for the program, right now we're offering this very low price for the program. That price is going to go up. The price for the VIP package is also going to go up. And so I want to encourage you that if you really believe that, this is going to be a positive impact on your life, that you just go ahead and do it now. It's not a lot of money, especially if you're doing the basic program. It's really not a lot of money, but it's a huge investment in yourself. The ROI that you're going to get from this is so high that I'm telling you, this is something that completely changed my life. It's changed the lives of people that I've worked with, my friends. I've seen how this work has impacted like tens of thousands of people across the globe using the same tools that are in my program. Like, people have healed themselves, have changed their lives completely. You know, with a lot of these programs that a lot of like higher level mentors are giving for tens of thousands of dollars. I know for acquiring this information, I've spent over $100,000 on coaching and packages and programs and being in the rooms with those people to learn this stuff. So I'm telling you right now, like, take advantage of this while it's so low. And um, like I said, I'll put everything in the comments so that when the prices change, like, you'll have the most current prices. And it will also have my email list. So if you want to sign up for my email list, get updates, find out when I'm offering anything free, anything, tools for you, when I'm going live on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that stuff. You're here, you know what to do. And I just want to thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that, regardless, that these mindset shifts will help you in your life and really like make you see that you have the power to change and you have the power to um, really create the life that you love And I want to encourage you to do that. I'm going to take one last look, give it a couple minutes, see if there are any final questions, final comments, and then I think we are done. Thank you so much. Just seeing. Okay. I don't see any final comments or questions. I see some hearts. Thank you so much for the likes. I really really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, that's it. So thank you so much, guys. Again, my name is Janair Hines. All the information will be in the description of the video and also on my channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And take care. Thank you so much.